Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio. So today, we are looking at an item card that we just have not had time to look at yet. It's Damage Remover. It's coming out in Shining Legends in October. And it's a very weird kind of card. Now, I've been meaning to do this video for ages now. There's just been other videos I've had to do first. No more, ladies and gentlemen. Damage Remover. It's his time. It is an item card that allows you to move 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. It is Absol from Roaring Skies, but as an item card. Now, we did have a Reuniclus ages ago that allowed you to move damage around your side of the field. It saw a fair bit of play, because what happened, it actually came second at Worlds one year. You'd use Reuniclus to move the damage onto something like a Zekrom or a Donphan Prime that had loads of HP. Then you would use Blissey Prime to completely heal. Yay! But this is only 3 damage counters. Well, there's no point moving 3 damage counters so you can heal them, because you know what you can do? Just play Potion. Just play a potion to heal 3 damage counters. For damage healing, this doesn't seem very good. You can use it to move a Pokemon out of range of being KO'd, take 3 damage counters off, so they can no longer be KO'd, but you can just use a potion. This would combo nicely with Rough Seas. Move the damage onto a Water or Lightning Pokemon, use Rough Seas to heal, but you could just use a potion. So I think at this stage, I made it quite clear that this could just be replaced by potion. So we need some uses for this. And obviously there are some, otherwise I wouldn't make a video. Number 1, Drampa. You need to have damage on a bench Pokemon with Drampa. Now at the moment your 2 options are basically use a Team Magma's Secret Base, bench a basic, take the damage counters, or use Rainbow Energy, which I still believe is too slow. But sometimes what ends up happening is you end up with free energy on a Drampa, no damage on any bench Pokemon, and then your opponent hits you and you've got a damaged Drampa, no damage on the bench. You don't get to do the extra damage with Berserk. Well, that's where Damage Remover comes in. You take those 3 damage counters from Drampa, or 3 of whatever many there might be. You move it onto one of your bench, and now you're activating Berserk. This, ladies and gentlemen, I think is a very good use for Damage Remover. Heal a bit from Drampa while moving it to the bench. Now Berserk is active, and in this situation, Damage Remover becomes an awful lot better than stupid Potion. The other reason you might want to use Damage Remover is you might want to damage your own Pokemon. Now, we've basically got 3 Pokemon at the moment, or we're going to have by the time Shining Legends comes out, where you want damage on them. Reshiram and Zekrom. Now I'm using the scans of the old Reshiram and Zekrom because the outrage attack is exactly the same and these cards are in English so they're easier to see. And Tauros GX. Reshiram and Zekrom have outrage. 20 damage plus 10 for each damage counter on them. So if they've got 20 damage on, you do 40, etc, etc. So you can use Damage Remover to move energy onto Reshiram and Zekrom, and now you're outraging for more damage. So let's say for instance you combo it with something like Team Magma's Secret Base. Now this would be an expanded, but it's just an example for the moment. You bench a Zekrom and I don't know, let's say a Pikachu. Each of them take 20 damage. You then use Damage Remover to move those 2 damage counters from Pikachu onto Zekrom. Now you've got 4 damage counters on Zekrom, you're doing 60 damage. 120 if the defending Pokemon is weak, or indeed 180 if you've got Choice Band and they're weak. Now this is a fairly convoluted example, benching 2 Pokemon with a Team Magma's Secret Base out, then using Damage Remover, having a Choice Band and hitting for weakness. I get that. But this is just an example of the kind of things you can do with Damage Remover. I mean, let's take something like Tauros. Mad Bull GX does 3 times the amount of damage on you. So you drop Tauros down with a Team Magma's Secret Base, you've got 20 damage on you, you're doing 60. But you put a second Pokemon down that takes 20, damage move it over, you've now got 40 on you, you're doing 120. Minimum! That's if there's no other damage. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think this is actually doable, but technically what you could do is you could bench 4 Pokemon with Team Magma's Secret Base out. And then you could damage remover 4 times, because you can play 4 copies in your deck. And then you could actually have 10 damage counters on a Zekrom, a Reshiram, a Tauros in one go. 20 damage from the Team Magma's secret base, and then 20 damage from each of the other Pokemon from which you damage removered. In the mid to late game, when you've got multiple damage counters on the field, you could move 120 damage from 4 different Pokemon, or 4 times, it could be once or twice from, the same Pokemon. And then you can move 120 damage onto Zekrom or Reshiram, hitting for 140, with a Choice Badger hitting 170. That's enough to KO a Tapu Lele, and let's face it, everyone's playing Tapu Lele. Now, these examples are all very convoluted, I get it. I'm not saying you should go and make a Zekrom deck built around trying to quadruple damage remover to hit for 170. What I'm saying is this is one of the uses of it. Moving these damage counters onto what I like to call outrage Pokemon, like Reshiram, Zekrom and Tauros, so that you can then hit for more damage. It could work. It could be fun. And of course, it genuinely could be a good card in Drampa where you need to get some damage on the bench. Ideas, ladies and gentlemen. It is a weird card. But you know what? Could be kind of fun. Situational play only, but that doesn't really matter. Now, before I give it a score, I have got to inform you all that Shane Small is a lovely, lovely man. He is one of my supporters over at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. He is a lovely man. You all need to know this. As for damage remover, I'm going to give it about, let's say, between 2 and 3 Wassies. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, we don't give half Wassies because that would be barbaric. It's searchable. You can use a Tapu Lele to grab a Skylar to grab this, but honestly, it's going to have some niche play in very few decks. I cannot give it 3 Wassies. I'm not doing it. Now, if there's anything you want to say about damage remover, that's what the comment section is there for. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter @TheWassie. Check out twitch.tv/PTCGRadio for some live Pokemon action. And of course, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.